Hello, my name is Ariel. I teach English at Bookish English. Before we start, I want to know why you are learning English. Please write your reason in the comments below. Let's begin. The story, Part 1. Arriving in New York. My name is Maria. I am from Spain. I came to New York to learn English. I was excited but also nervous because I had never been here before. When I arrived at the airport, I felt many things. The city was big and noisy. I took a taxi to my new apartment. The buildings were tall, and many people were walking. When I got to my apartment, I met my roommate. Her name is Anna, and she is from Brazil. Anna is learning English too. We quickly became good friends. We were happy to have each other in the new city. The next day, I went to my language school. It was not far, so I walked. The streets were busy, filled with food sellers, people rushing, and tourists taking pictures. At school, I met my teacher, Miss Parker. She was very kind. In our class, there were students from different countries. I met Hiroshi from Japan, Maria from Mexico, and Ahmed from Egypt. We all had one goal: to learn English. Miss Parker asked each of us to introduce ourselves. When it was my turn, I felt shy, but I took a deep breath and said, "Hello, my name is Maria. I am from Spain. I am here to learn English." Everyone smiled, and Miss Parker said, "Welcome, Maria. We are happy to have you here." After the introductions, Miss Parker talked about our course. She explained that we would learn English by using it every day, through speaking, listening, reading, and writing. She encouraged us not to worry about mistakes because they are a part of learning. In the afternoon, we practiced speaking in pairs. I worked with Hiroshi. We talked about our countries and why we came to New York. Hiroshi said he liked anime and wanted to work in animation. I shared that I love reading books and want to become a writer. Although we made mistakes, we helped each other and learned new words. After school, Anna and I explored the neighborhood. We found a small park, sat on a bench, and talked about our first day. Anna liked the class, and I agreed. We both felt more confident about learning English. In the evening, we cooked dinner together. We made pasta and practiced English while cooking. "Pass me the salt, please," Anna said. "Here you go," I replied. We laughed and enjoyed our meal, ending the day on a happy note. The next day, we had a listening exercise in class. Miss Parker played a recording of a conversation. We had to listen carefully and answer questions. At first, it was hard, but Miss Parker played the recording again. Each time, I understood a little more. After that, we had a reading activity. Miss Parker gave us a short story. It was about a girl who moves to a new city. It reminded me of my own story. We read the story and talked about it. Miss Parker asked questions to help us understand. Later, we did a writing exercise. We wrote about our favorite place in our home country. I wrote about a beach near my town. It has golden sand and clear blue water. Writing was hard, but I was proud of my work. After school, Anna, Hiroshi, and I went to a coffee shop. We wanted to practice speaking English outside of class. We ordered our drinks in English and found a table. We talked about our day and plans for the weekend. It was fun and helped us feel more comfortable using English. On Saturday, Anna and I visited famous places in New York. We took the subway to Times Square. It was amazing. The lights and big screens were so exciting. We took many pictures and bought souvenirs. Then, we visited Central Park. It was nice to walk there. We saw people jogging, walking dogs, and having picnics. We sat on a bench and talked about our families. It was a good way to practice English. In the afternoon, we went to the Museum of Modern Art. The art was interesting. We tried to read the information about the paintings in English. Some words were new, but we helped each other understand. On Sunday, I studied. I wanted to review what I learned in class. I read English books and watched a movie with subtitles. I also wrote in my journal about my experiences in New York. Writing helped me remember new words. In the evening, Anna and I cooked dinner again. This time, we made tacos. We talked about our plans for the week. Anna wanted a part-time job to practice her English. I agreed and decided to look for a job too. The next day at school, Miss Parker taught grammar. We learned about verb tenses. It was hard, but Miss Parker explained it well. We did exercises to practice. I felt more confident using tenses in my sentences. In the afternoon, we did a speaking activity. We pretended to be in different situations, like at a restaurant. I worked with Maria from Mexico. We practiced ordering food. It was fun and helped us with real-life conversations. After school, Anna and I went to the job center. We looked at job listings and asked for advice. They said working in a cafe or store would be good for practicing English. We filled out job applications and gave our contact information. That evening, I called my family in Spain. I told them about my life in New York. They were happy I was doing well. I missed them, but I was learning a lot. In the next days, we had more grammar lessons, listening exercises, and speaking activities. I could feel my English improving bit by bit. I practiced every day, even outside of class. One day, Miss Parker asked us to give short presentations about our countries. I was nervous but prepared well. I talked about Spain, its culture, and famous landmarks. My classmates liked it. I felt proud. On Friday, Anna and I got a call from a cafe. They wanted to interview us for part-time jobs. We were excited and nervous. We practiced answering interview questions in English. The next day, we went for the interview. The manager, Lucy, was kind. She asked us why we wanted to work at the cafe. I said I wanted to improve my English and learn more about American culture. Anna said the same. Lucy liked our answers and gave us a chance. She offered us a trial period. Anna and I were so happy. We thanked Lucy and agreed to start next week. That evening, we celebrated. We cooked a special dinner and invited our friends. We talked about our new jobs and experiences in New York. It was a fun evening. I felt grateful. New York was big and busy, but it gave me chances to learn. I knew there would be challenges, but I was ready for them. My journey in New York was just beginning. I was excited to see what I would learn and achieve next. We talked more about our work and what we wanted to do in the future. I think I want to work in a cafe forever, Anna said. It's fun, and I'm getting better at speaking English. I want to be a writer, I said. I want to write books in English one day. After the beach, we went back to the apartment. We were tired but happy. The next day, we went to class. We learned more about English grammar. It was hard, but we tried our best. Miss Parker gave us some homework. We had to write a short story in English. It was about a time we learned something new.
I wrote about my first day at the cafe. I wrote how I felt nervous but also proud of myself for trying. At the end of the week, we had a big test in class. It was a little scary, but I studied hard. I went over the lessons, practiced speaking with Anna, and read some books in English. When the test came, I felt ready. After the test, Miss Parker asked us to talk about our plans. "What do you want to do after you finish learning English?" she asked. I raised my hand and said, "I want to find a better job. I want to speak English well and travel the world." Anna said, "I want to do the same." Miss Parker smiled. "You are both doing well. Keep practicing, and you will reach your goals." The next few days were busy at work. We kept practicing our English. We learned new words, and the customers were getting friendlier. One woman told me, "You have a nice smile." It made me feel good. By the end of the week, I felt proud of myself. I had learned so much in just a few weeks. I could speak more English, and I was starting to feel comfortable in New York. I knew I still had a long way to go, but I was not afraid. I had made new friends, found a job, and learned new things. I was ready to face the next challenge. I chose to talk about Christmas in Spain. I told the class about the food we eat and the traditions we have. I was nervous at first, but I spoke slowly and clearly. After my presentation, Miss Parker said, "Great job, Maria. You spoke very well." I smiled and felt proud. It was another step in my learning journey. In the afternoon, we practiced speaking with our classmates. I worked with Ahmed from Egypt. We talked about our favorite foods. He told me he liked falafel, and I told him I liked paella. It was a nice conversation, and we helped each other with some new words. At the end of the week, we had another test. It was about vocabulary and grammar. I studied hard and felt ready. When the test was over, I felt good. I knew I had done my best. Anna and I celebrated by going to the cafe for a treat. We talked about how much we had learned and how much we still wanted to learn. I knew it would take time, but I was excited about the future. We were on the right path, and I was proud of how far we had come. Chapter 4. The weeks passed quickly, and Anna and I were getting better at our jobs. We had learned many new words and were becoming more confident when speaking with customers. At work, Lucy was always kind and patient with us. She gave us more responsibilities, like making drinks and cleaning tables. It felt good to be trusted. One morning, a customer came to the counter and asked for a cappuccino. I remembered how to make it, but I was still a little nervous. "Would you like it hot or iced?" I asked. The customer smiled and said, "Hot, please." I quickly made the cappuccino and gave it to him. "Thank you," he said. I felt proud of myself for making the coffee correctly. At the end of the day, Anna and I talked about the customer interactions. "I felt good today," Anna said. "I understood everything they said to me." "Me too," I replied. "I think I am getting better at understanding their orders." After work, we went to the park to relax. We liked to talk about our experiences in New York and what we had learned. "I want to visit more places in the city," Anna said. "There are so many things to see." I agree, I said. I want to see the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building. The next weekend, we decided to visit the Statue of Liberty. We took the subway to the ferry station. The ferry ride was exciting. We could see the whole city and the big buildings. The water was beautiful, and the sky was clear. When we arrived at Liberty Island, we saw the Statue of Liberty. It was bigger than I had imagined. We took many pictures and looked around. There were tourists from all over the world. Some were taking pictures, and others were reading information about the statue. We walked around the island and learned about its history. It was interesting to know that the statue was a gift from France to the United States. We read about how the statue represents freedom and hope for many people. We even climbed up to the pedestal to get a better view of the city. After we left Liberty Island, we went to a nearby cafe. We ordered sandwiches and talked about the statue. I didn't know it was a gift from France, Anna said. It's amazing. Yes, it is, I replied. I'm glad we came here today. It was full of small shops and restaurants. We walked around and looked at the stores. We found a small bookshop and decided to go inside. The shop was full of books in English. Anna picked up a book about New York, and I picked up a novel in English. We both wanted to improve our reading skills. We paid for the books and left the shop. Let's read our books tonight, I said. I'll try to understand more words. Anna smiled. I'll do the same. That evening, we read our books. It was a little difficult, but we helped each other when we didn't understand something. We looked up words in the dictionary and practiced reading out loud. It felt good to be learning new things. The next week, we had a speaking test in class. Miss Parker asked us to talk about our favorite hobbies. I talked about reading books and writing stories. Anna talked about her love for cooking and trying new recipes. We both felt nervous, but we did our best. After the test, Miss Parker said, "You both did very well. Keep practicing, and you will continue to improve." We both smiled. We were happy with our progress. At work, we kept practicing our English. We learned new phrases and words to help us at the cafe. We also started to understand the customers better. One day, a customer asked for tea with honey. I remembered what to do and made the tea. The customer said, "Thank you. This is exactly what I wanted." I felt proud again. The weeks went by quickly, and we were both getting better at speaking, listening, and reading in English. We still had challenges, but we kept practicing every day. We knew it would take time, but we were excited about learning more. One evening after work, Anna said, "Do you think we are ready to speak English outside of class?" I thought for a moment. "I think we are," I said. "We just have to keep practicing." Anna smiled. "Yes, let's do it." We were both excited to use our English in more real-life situations. We knew that learning English was a journey, but we were ready for the next step. Chapter 5. The next week, we decided to be braver and speak English outside of class. We wanted to practice with people we met in the city. One afternoon, we went to a small cafe near our apartment. We decided to talk to the waiter in English. When we entered, the waiter smiled at us. "Hello, how can I help you?" he asked. Anna and I looked at each other. We were a little nervous, but we took a deep breath. "I'll have a coffee, please," Anna said. "And I would like a sandwich," I said. The waiter nodded and wrote it down. "Anything else?" he asked. We both smiled and said, "No, thank you." When the waiter brought our food, I said, "Thank you very much." He smiled and replied, "You're welcome. Enjoy your meal." We both felt happy because we spoke to him in English. After that, we walked around the city. We wanted to explore more and practice speaking with others. We saw a small bookstore, so we decided to go inside. It was quiet, and there were many books in English. I looked at the shelves. "I want to buy a book," I said. Anna nodded. "Me too. Let's find something easy to read." We both picked up books with simple stories. I found a book about New York, and Anna found a book about cooking. We went to the counter to pay for the books. The cashier smiled at us. "How are you today?" she asked. "We are good, thank you," Anna said. "How about you?" The cashier smiled.